Now at 5:30, a 14-year-old girl is dead after drowning. Amy Reed has the latest from Rock County. And Packer fans are saying goodbye to legendary quarterback Bart Starr. Melissa Kim takes a look back at his life. And people in Columbus are working to preserve a memorial.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5:30.
The Rock County Sheriff's Office is preaching safety this weekend after a 14-year-old girl died in a canoe accident yesterday. Amy Reed has more from the scene.
Yesterday afternoon, a group of adults and kids with some tied to the Boy Scouts came down this river, capsized, and got stuck on those trees. One girl, whose name we don't know right now, was stuck underwater. When law enforcement got on scene, they worked hard to get her and the other 4 paddlers who were in the water out. They eventually did and started CPR on the girl right away. Unfortunately, she died at the hospital. Now the Sheriff's Office and the DNR are warning people as they get excited to spend time in the water this summer to please make sure you know what you're doing and the conditions where you're doing it.
If you're unfamiliar with an area, maybe start out somewhere without so much current and where the water is not so high. Maybe go to like a local lake or something a little bit more small and practice this stuff before you come out and get into a situation where it's complex or stressful for you.
Rescue workers were back on scene today trying to recover the canoes that got stuck in the water yesterday. One of them they couldn't get, so they said that's staying there. There was one state patroller who was on scene before the others, and without hesitation, he jumped in the water to try and save the kids. We talked to him, and we'll show you what he had to say tonight on News 3 Now at 10. Reporting in Rock County, Amy Reed, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Amy. Let's get a look at your first alert weather with Dana Fulton out on the patio. A pretty beautiful day today, but rain on the way?
Absolutely, Amanda. Right now, things are really quiet and really nice outside for us. Not too windy, not too warm, not too cool. Really in for a pleasant Sunday evening. Here's a live look actually from our WISC-TV sky cam. Barely even a few clouds in the sky for us right now. And as we look at our visible cloud track, things are actually pretty quiet. We have had a few showers south of us and a few little clouds south of us, but again, that's well down to the south. The overall Doppler track's also quiet. This image, though, will not carry into tomorrow, unfortunately. Right now, we're at 75, and Madison is a little cooler than yesterday, but not by much. That breeze is going to stay pretty light for us overnight. Again, tomorrow we're talking about showers and thunderstorms picking up in the morning and then another round in the afternoon. Your Memorial Day is looking a little saturated right now. We'll have storms for much of the start of the week, but we'll take a look at that forecast in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Dana. With rain on the way, flooding concerns are heightened, especially for those already hit hard in our area over the past year. One Columbus family is among them, hoping to keep a very special tribute alive. Our Madeline O'Neill is back from Dodge County with that story.
Hi, Amanda. Yeah, there's a spot in Astigo Park where people go for wedding pictures, school trips, and fishing outings. Over 8 years, it's grown to mean a lot to people in the area. But what happened to it this spring hit one family the hardest.
So I have a lot of feelings, but I always do when I come out here.
It's hard to find a more peaceful spot.
The water, quiet, and the sounds.
Here along a secluded part of the Crawfish River in Astigo Park.
Beautiful day like this, if I'm standing out on the pier, it's like I can almost hear him laughing over the river sometimes.
Connie Valenza knows it can be hard to find peace.
He was such a character. I mean, he was so funny and loud and crazy, and yet he could be very, very thoughtful and very kind of quiet.
9 years ago, she lost her teenage son, David.
But then the quiet out here too reminds me a little bit of him. Makes it even harder for a parent. David took his life. And I think you're always searching for answers in terms of what went wrong, and was it something we did or something I did or something I missed, and you just beat yourself up over and over.
Piece by piece, her family rebuilt.
I catch myself saying all the time, Connie, you can't change things.
Putting in this pier in the park they so often camped as a memorial.
We wanted it to give a little piece of that love that we had for Dave and that back to other people.
For a guy who grabbed a fishing pole on his way to homecoming.
I'm like, You're thinking about fishing for homecoming, but that's what he loved.
Connie knew it was perfect.
I hope that there's some peace.
That peace was disrupted again this spring
And it was really hard.
when flooding swept away the pier.
That meant something to us because of Dave, and to see it gone was just kind of devastating.
Connie knows resilience.
And so we decided that there's no way we could just say, well, let's not rebuild it.
Even with the return of high waters threatening this new pier,
But I think it'll hold.
holding steady, just like the little piece of calm she's built here.
But when I come out here, I feel a little bit of peace. I think to myself, if there's a way, he's looking down and he's enjoying this beautiful day as well.
The Valenza family has a GoFundMe page set up raising money for the Friends of Dodge County Parks in David's name for the pier's repairs and maintenance. That will be on our website. And they would love to someday create a picnic area in his honor as well at Astico Park. And now I know Connie as Mrs. Valenza. She was my high school principal, so I'm really happy we got to share this story today.
A beautiful story. Thank you so much, Maddie.
You're welcome.
New information tonight out of Michigan, where investigators are working to figure out what caused a multi-vehicle crash that killed the wife and daughter of an assistant basketball coach for the Badgers. Michigan State Police say Howard Moore and his family were driving near Ann Arbor on Highway 14 yesterday morning when a driver going the opposite direction crashed into their car. Moore and his 13-year-old son are being treated at the University of Michigan Hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. Moore's wife, Jennifer, died at the hospital, and their 9-year-old daughter, Jaden, died at the scene. The wrong-way driver has been identified as 23-year-old Samantha Winchester of Ann Arbor. She was also killed in that crash. A toxicology report is pending. Out of Green Bay, some sad news. Packers announced legendary quarterback Bart Starr has died. Melissa Kim joins us now with more on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's really been an emotionally tough weekend for sports fans in Wisconsin, the sports world, honestly. Bart Starr really needs no identification or title. The legendary Packers quarterback passed away this morning in Birmingham, Alabama at the age of 85. He had a serious stroke about 5 years ago, and he's been battling with his health since then. Now, the Hall of Famer led Green Bay to 5 NFL championships and 2 Super Bowl titles as a player, and was also head coach of the team from 1975 to 1983. He won NFL MVP, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, was named to 4 Pro Bowls, the NFL 1960s All-Decade Team. The list goes on and on and on. But what he was most known for was his personality, always known to carry himself with class and kindness. And that's what we're hearing from so many people today, Amanda. We'll have much more coming up later in sports.
Yeah, a lot of sad news in the Wisconsin sports world.
It's a tough, resilient weekend. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Aaron Rodgers joined many in paying tribute to Starr. He posted this picture on Instagram, only using a heart for a caption. Packers kicker Mason Crosby tweeted saying, quote, "He always had time for everyone and made everyone around him better." More local news now. While beer might be the favorite alcoholic drink for many in Wisconsin, the state's wineries are also making a name for themselves. A new student from Michigan State says more than 1.7 million people traveled to the state's wineries in 2015. Wineries are now bringing in nearly $50 million to the state's economy. And another Wisconsin favorite is bringing people to downtown Madison this weekend. Madison's annual Brat Fest hosted a car show this afternoon. So far, more than 12,000 brats have been sold this weekend. The festivities wrap up tonight with fireworks just after 9 o'clock. Coming up on News 3 Now at 5:30, another round of tornadoes has moved across Oklahoma. We will update you on the lives lost. A tornado destroyed a motel and tore through a mobile home park near Oklahoma City late last night, killing 2 people and injuring at least 29 others. A second twister hit a suburb of Tulsa more than 100 miles away. CBS News' Meg Oliver has more.
The deadly tornado tore through El Reno late Saturday, demolishing a motel and ripping through a mobile home park. At least 2 fatalities were reported. Survivors described the destruction in this town about 25 miles west of Oklahoma City.
I looked out straight out the window, which was busted, and saw my neighbor's trailer rolling over.
When we got up, the whole house was overturned.
We had a lot of patrons on the patio, and we started seeing tents overturned, chairs overturned.
El Reno Mayor Matt White said many of the people living in the mobile park are Hispanic and don't speak English, making rescue efforts more complicated.
We are more than a community. We are a family. We're going to overcome this.
White said more than 24 people were taken to hospitals, some undergoing surgery.
It's a very trying time for us, and we're going to get through it.
The National Weather Service said the tornado was an EF3 with winds up to 165 miles an hour. At its widest point, it was 75 yards. The twister was on the ground for just over 2 miles and lasted 4 minutes. Meg Oliver, CBS News.
In 2013, a tornado near El Reno killed 8 people, including a storm chaser. Next on News 3 Now at 5:30, another beautiful day across southern Wisconsin, but changes are coming this week. Dana Fulton has the latest in your First Alert forecast.
Right now, things don't look too bad outside at all. We really have a nice evening ahead. Quiet weather. And in fact, as we look at our live camera here in Platteville from our Queen Bee Radio Sky Cam, a nice blue sky right now. Again, barely a cloud in the sky. If you can get out to enjoy this evening, would definitely recommend it because the next few days, they're going to include some rain later on in the day for us. Now, our visible cloud track, of course, showing some cloud coverage to the south. We've had this nice break this afternoon for us. Doppler track also quiet. But as we look ahead to your Monday Monday. Do know that there is a slight risk south and west of us, and then that marginal risk crossing over just southwest of Madison. Madison not included in this potential to see some severe weather, but that doesn't mean we don't have the chance to still see quite a bit of rainfall come through and a lot of stronger storms. Not just the chance for severe storms, but strong storms in general could still bring some very strong wind gusts for us. The low pressure is going to continue to track along these cold fronts stalled just south of Wisconsin. As it pushes through, we're just going to be in for rounds and rounds of rainfall, not just for Monday, but for Tuesday and Wednesday. We have several chances to continue to see rain come on through and just add up. Our accumulation totals by the end of the week could be in the several inches, anywhere from 3 to 4 inches possible after all of these rounds come through. So overnight will steadily become mostly cloudy. By early tomorrow morning, the showers start on the western edge of the state first. Just after, of course, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, we start to see the lighter showers. They creep across the state, heading to the eastern side. That heavy round of rain likely in the morning, and then the chance for some stronger showers popping up later in the evening also. Tuesday, we start off cloudy, and then a chance for rain starts to develop later on. And that Tuesday chance, the center of that low is going to get a little closer, so we could see some really strong storms sliding through Tuesday evening. Again, in the morning, we'll get a break in the rain, but later in the day, we could see some very, very strong thunderstorms for us. So a little closer look at our timing. Overnight, we're going to fall to the middle 50s. Early in the morning, those shower chances, we'll start to see some drizzle first, and then the heavier rain comes in behind it. And we have heavy rain expected through much of the morning and then in the early afternoon. Now, we are going to have a break before that evening round comes through, and that break could be good or bad. Of course, to get a break from the rain, a good thing, but if we have any clearing during that break, that could really lead to some fuel for these storms coming through later in the evening. So clearing, not exactly a good thing for us tomorrow afternoon. We'd rather just keep the clouds, but take the rain away for a few hours. As far as rainfall totals through the day on Monday, 1 to 2 inches, pretty much the general accumulation for us, but some isolated areas could get up to 2.5 or 2 1/4. Could see 2.5 for some spots, but likely closer to about 2 1/4 for those isolated areas. Again, that's just for Monday. Tuesday, we have more rain coming through, so we do have alert days in the forecast for Monday and Tuesday because of the potential, of course, for some stronger thunderstorms that'll bring heavy rainfall, strong wind gusts, isolated hail threats also. Overnight, we'll drop to about 54 tomorrow. Our temperatures will be just a little cooler, mostly cloudy sky, but we'll be close to 65 for our afternoon highs. Again, alert days to start the week. We still have rain in the forecast for Wednesday, but it doesn't look like those storms coming in on Wednesday will pack quite as much of a punch as the ones coming in later in the day on Monday and Tuesday. Rain accumulation throughout the beginning of the week. By the end of the week, we'll have some sun for Thursday and Friday, but we do still have a slight chance for some showers. It does look like a little bit of rainfall might come south of us, but if it drifts a little further north, then we could be looking at 7 full days of rain, which is certainly not ideal for us at all right now, Amanda. Ooh. We would like to get some drying.
Yeah, definitely not. So if you're planning on enjoying this holiday weekend, tonight is the night.
Absolutely. Get out there this evening, and of course for Memorial Day, perhaps have an indoor backup for tomorrow.
All right, thanks so much. Still ahead, the Brewers trying to wrap up this series with a win. Highlights coming up next in sports.
Well, it really has been a tough and emotional weekend for the Wisconsin sports world. And this morning, Hall of Fame quarterback Bart Starr passed away at his home in Birmingham, Alabama. Starr was 85 years old, had a serious stroke in 2014. Now, Starr was legendary in his years in Green Bay. He played from 1956 to 1971, during which he led the Packers to 5 NFL championships and 2 Super Bowl titles. He was also named MVP in those Super Bowls. And the list just goes on and on when it comes to accolades on the field. But Starr also known for his demeanor off of the field. Packers president Mark Murphy said today that Starr epitomized class. The Starr family also sending a message out today saying, in part, our family wishes to thank the thousands of friends and fans who made his life and their lives better for so many decades, and especially during the past 5 years. His love for all humanity is well known, and his affection towards the residents of Alabama and Wisconsin filled him with gratitude. He had really hoped to make one last trip to Green Bay to watch the Packers this fall, but he shall forever be there in spirit. Brett Favre also sending his condolences on Twitter this morning, saying in part, I feel extremely lucky to have called him a friend, to mention and to have been mentioned in the same breath. To our other top story in sports this weekend, an update on Wisconsin men's basketball assistant coach Howard Moore. He is expected to recover from his injuries. Actually, we just got an update. He is currently in the ICU, and his son, and it's expected to be okay, like we said. His 13-year-old son, Jarrell, escaped with minor injuries. Now, the Moore family was traveling near Ann Arbor early yesterday morning when another car was driving the wrong way on Highway M14 and crashed head-on with Moore's car. The driver of that car, 23-year-old Samantha Winchester, was killed, as well as Moore's 9-year-old daughter, Jaden, wife Jennifer, and family dog. University of Wisconsin Athletic Director Barry Alvarez is offering his support to Moore and his family. He says he is, quote, truly heartbroken for his family and will be doing everything possible to help him through this tragic time. Badger head coach Greg Gard also sending his well wishes to the family, saying, quote, there are no words to describe how devastated we are for Howard and his family. Our basketball program is an extremely close family, and we are all grieving. To some baseball now. 1/3 of the Brewers season in the books after today, and after losing the first 2 in the series to the Phillies, the Brew Crew ready to wrap this one up with a win. Brewers up 2-0 in the 4th inning. Brandon Woodruff with a stellar day at the plate gets that one deep to left field. That's an RBI double, scoring Hernan Perez. 3-0 Brew Crew. To the 5th now. It's just a matter of time before Christian Yelich hit another home run. That's number 21 of the season. The reigning NL MVP leads the league in home runs. 4-0 Brewers. Not done yet here in the 8th. Ben Gamel, his 2nd home run of the day. 9-1 Brewers, and Woodruff just spectacular on the mound as well. He gave up 1 run on 1 hit, struck out 10 in 8 innings of work. Brewers win 9-1 the final. Well, last night the Bucs season came to an end at the hands of Kawhi Leonard and the Raptors in Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. It's a historic win for the Raptors, making its first trip to the NBA Finals in franchise history. But for the Bucs, they'll be picking up the pieces of what was a stunning first season under head coach Mike Budenholzer. So don't go anywhere, according to Giannis. This team is still climbing the mountain.
We gotta learn how to come out and close out games, especially after Game 3. We got to get better as a team, and we got to get better individually. I think it's just the start of a long journey, and we're going to get better, and we're going to come back next year and believe in who we are, believe in what we've built this year.
And I suppose the good news here is that we never have to see this guy again. Drake is now Golden State's problem, and Draymond Green from the Warriors already has his take on the Raptors superfan.
Drake can't shoot, nor can he pass. You ever seen Drake play basketball?
Have you?
I saw a couple highlights. They wasn't so hot.
Not so hot, not the Bucs' problem. So, unfortunately, it did come to an end, but yeah, not our problem anymore.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of entertaining to see Drake on the side with the sweatshirt.
It definitely kept the rivalry going, the fans a little riled up throughout. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, thanks so much. We'll be right back. We were just looking at a live shot of the terrace. A lot of people out there trying to enjoy these last sunny day, I guess, before tomorrow.
Yes, it's going to be a little bit of time before we get to enjoy the sunshine again. And right now it is so nice outside. We're in the middle 70s currently. If you're able to enjoy the rest of the evening, would recommend it because we have alert days in the forecast for Monday and Tuesday. The concern, of course, some very strong thunderstorms coming through, mainly in the evening for Monday and later on in the day on Tuesday. Those storms could bring some very heavy rainfall, strong wind gusts, the threat for hail. And we're going to watch our rain accumulation totals by the end of this into Thursday morning. Land close to 3 to 4 inches. So a lot of rain coming through. Not exactly the greatest start to the week for us.
Yeah, definitely not. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.